Well, we are here at MSI, and we're not talking about League of Legends esports. We are talking about Riftbound, because Riftbound has an awesome pop-up here. And I'm joined right now by Nick Davidson, who's the game design architect on Riftbound. And before we get into anything in the interview, I was given my favorite champion to reveal, and I decided we could do this together.
Yeah, let's do it.
Which is Leona, and this is, I know there's already a Leona that's been revealed.
Yes,
the legend.
The legend has been revealed, but
for the first time, we're revealing the champion unit.
Within Riftbound, every core champion that has a legend is going to have 2 different units associated with it, 1 in each color, and you can choose either of those as your chosen champion to start the game with. Green Leona is a great pick for that starting champion role. Leona plays around an offensive stun strategy, which makes sense for the champ, right? Like it's, murder is a form of support, and Leona's entire archetype is about leveraging stuns to win combats. Stun in Riftbound reduces, it basically says that unit will not deal any damage in combat, and Green Leona makes up for the biggest weakness in the stun archetype, which is that you can stun something big, but that doesn't mean you can kill it.
Right.
Because you stun an 8, great. It's not going to kill you, but you've still got to be able to deal 8 to it. But what does Green Leona say?
It says, well, first, the second part, which we're talking about right now, which is stunned enemy units here have -8 might to a minimum of 1 might.
Absolutely. So what that does is those big things become very small, very easy to kill while stunned. Now, the character needs to combo with other cards in the archetype to really get the most out of that, but the Leona deck does not have a hard time doing stuns just about every round.
And there's another ability on this card, which is if an opponent scores within 3 points of the victory score, I enter ready.
Right. So there are a lot of ways to get around the fundamental drawback of a unit, which is that it doesn't exert its power on the turn that it enters your base because it's exhausted, but certain units have accelerate and let them spend extra resources to come into play ready. Leona, representing a late game scaling champion, comes in ready if your opponent is close to winning. If it's late in the game and Leona's coming in clutch, then she's going to come in ready and immediately be able to do her thing.
She kind of gets that Gandalf moment at the end of the second movie where she's like, I'm here to save the day. All right, so we have 2 different treatments of Leona, because we have both Leona and then her alt art.
I love this piece.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about this. So how did you land on this sort of art style and these specific alt treatments for her?
Yeah, so with Leona and with all of our champions, we wanted to make sure that their core representation in the game really felt like the core representation in League, kind of the canon outfit and whatnot. For our first set in our alt arts, we wanted to lean on some of the more famous and recognizable skins of those characters. It often gave us a chance to bring some of the really cool splash art that you don't get to see very much onto a card. It recontextualizes the art in an interesting way. It's a different crop, and a lot of our artists had to do a lot of fiddling to make it look amazing for a card.
Yeah.
So the base Leona has that classic look to her, and the alt art, a very cool skin. And the alt arts, you'll see by the little hexagonal gem on the bottom, all of those are alternate visual treatments.
Okay.
There are no functionally unique cards at a higher rarity than Epic, but we get to do some cool stuff with our alt arts. They have an excellent foil treatment. I've seen them, very few other people have. They're really nice, I'm excited. But yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is a good place for us to dive in a little bit to the interview, but again, thank you to Riftbound for the reveal. Really cool to see that and get to reveal that. A huge fan of Leona.
It's so cool when you get to reveal your favorite champ.
Yes,
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk a little bit about alt arts, because I did a video on this channel, which is a little bit about the collecting info that you guys all shared before, but for those that were not able to see that video or have forgotten, how do alt arts work in Riftbound?
Right, so there are 4 functional rarities in the game. You have commons, you have uncommons, you have rares, you have epics. All of our functionally unique cards are one of those rarities. Per set, and we're not doing the same thing every set, but per set, we're going to take some number of cards and make alt art versions of these. These are meant to be more collectible, but they're not that uncommon, okay? You're going to get, on average, because it's not guaranteed, multiple of them in a box. So if you and your friends crack a box and start opening packs, you're gonna see some of these. These are meant to reflect some really cool expressions of the characters. Some of them are going to be just sort of more badass, like Leona. We, of course, have the, I don't know if that's been revealed yet.
That's fine.
I had to catch myself there.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's been revealed. But we're going to have some fun with the playful range of visuals, and those exist at the alt art. Then there's one more rarity, and that is overnumber.
Yeah.
So overnumbers are cards that are going to appear extremely rarely. On average, again, 1 per 3 boxes, you're going to see an overnumber. And these cards have an amazing treatment in terms of their foil and their texture. And this set is all done by Riot artists who got to do their favorite champs in their own style. And they were all so excited to have the opportunity to put some of their art on a trading card, which a lot of them, like as illustrators, that's like a really cool thing to be able to do. And to thank them for that and to kind of honor their contributions, we also have an even rarer version of those, and that is with the artist's signature stamp on them.
That's awesome.
They are incredibly cool. I'm really glad we could find these really cool expressions of these characters in a way. The Leona hasn't been revealed yet. I will say the Leona overnumber is probably my favorite.
Oh, really?
Of
Okay.
the batch. It's amazing.
Well, it sounds like I would have to hope to open that. Yeah.
Open it, trade for it, talk to a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really, really cool.
Yeah. I know that at the event that I attended, the media event, where you all were kind of revealing the stuff for the first time, you spoke on stage a little bit about the foiling and how you're trying to kind of get the card quality and card experience on these things to look really cool. I was not able to capture that conversation as well in my recap of it. So I'm wondering if you could speak to that, because I do have a lot of friends who play some other TCGs where they're really into the premium levels of the card and the quality of the card. So if you could speak a little to that.
So one of the things we wanted to do is that we wanted to make sure that these alt arts and overnumbers are as exciting and as rich and beautiful a collectible as exists in the TCG space today. They're really, really cool. You can take my word for it, or we can fast forward a few months and then people will say, wow, that Nick guy was right.
Yeah.
On top of that, we do have foiling on rares and above. And I know there's a lot of concern with foils. Does your foil treatment cause the cards to curl? We can say that we have tested this pretty extensively. It's a thick cardstock. It's a foil treatment that we're very happy with. I don't have concerns about that. If I'm proven wrong a year and a half from now, people can
tough
string
to
me
tell
up,
what happens years out and in different parts of the world. Yeah,
we're pretty confident in our process.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's take a step back away from the collecting stuff and talk a little bit to how you all approach design, because we were chatting a little bit before this.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that is cool, and we see it with the Leona card we were just looking at in terms of she likes to stun stuff. Jinx, we just did a video where I was playing against Dave, and she's doing a lot of this discard and kind of reckless play. How do you approach this? Because I think in other card games, depending on the game, they might not have like an existing IP or whatever to, they need to kind of hit the goal of like achieving what that fantasy is.
Yeah.
So how all are you able to represent that in these games?
So this idea of top-down design, this idea that I look at it, I read the title of it, and it should tell me something meaningful about what it does, is critical to TCGs, because TCGs have a lot of words, there's a lot of reading, and there's a lot of cards, and it's hard to memorize them all. So you need to have those handholds within the design to help you understand what's going on, and matching the concept, the art, to the mechanics in a resonant way is the strongest tool we have in the toolbox. So let's talk about Jinx and Leona.
Yeah.
These are two actually really great examples of how we approach top-down design for the League IP. Leona, as a champ that is known for stuns, and we have a mechanic of stun in Riftbound, it's a pretty easy thing to line up. Like, it would be a little surprising if Leona did not have the stun mechanic if a stun mechanic is in Riftbound. So we got to match it up, and even if it doesn't work exactly like you would expect, like a stun reducing offensive power as opposed to like making it more vulnerable to attack. But I guess we do actually represent that on the green Leona card. It is a mechanical top-down design. Leona is a stun champ, Leona stuns. Jinx is a way more interesting example because there's nothing about Jinx in League that says discard, right? You're not throwing away resources, but this idea that the character is reckless and discarding cards feels reckless. That is another type of top-down resonance where when we present like fans of Jinx, people who know the character very well, they immediately get it. They're like, oh, I just go all out. I just throw my cards in the trash and I draw off the top and I smash face and I go fast and aggressive and reckless. And that works. That like connects really well. Misfortune, I know the legend has been revealed. The concept of ganking as Misfortune, is Misfortune the best ganking champ of the game? Not exactly, but the idea of a pirate being mobile and swinging from battlefield to battlefield, it fits with how we are representing pirates within the game, and it works as a top-down resonant pirate archetype. And then there are a lot of things that we can do within MF's cards and that archetype that can tie into more mechanical resonant things. So it's a mix of all of those things.
It's cool because it sounds like it's not just a situation where you're like, hey, we want to represent the champion or legend exactly the way they are represented in the League of Legends game, but more like, what is this champion at its core? And so
what is the essence of the champion? What is the story of the champion? And for some champions, the mechanics are really key to that champion. But some champions, the narrative is a little closer to home. So we mix and match, and the nice thing is we have 4 unique representations of every champion that we feature in the set. You've got the legend, you've got the 2 units, and you've got the signature spell. So usually between all 4 of those cards, we can kind of present a package of what that champion is, what their essence is in Riftbound.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do have some questions from my community because I asked everybody beforehand what they would like to hear, and I've asked some of those to some of your colleagues, but I found some that I think might be of interest to you.
Absolutely.
So let's see, here we go. We have one here which is, here we go. Will they make sets based around skins at some point? This is from Man. We were kind of talking a little bit about this stuff.
So sets based on skins.
So skin lines. So like, you know, we have like the Cyberpunk ones,
there
and
are
the
some
Spirit Blossom.
Universe. So some of the alt universes might lend themselves very well to that sort of thing. One of the challenges with a TCG is that the sets are about, like the game is about conflict over locations. And League is awesome in that it has all of these different expressions of these characters. Some of those worlds would be harder to express in terms of a place where a lot of like conflict over locations is happening. So some of them fit very well. We obviously want to use these. We're not saying anything about how. It's a great question, and more information will come over time. And I know that's never a satisfying answer, but it's the one I've got to give.
Well, but you saying you guys are open to it, or there's ways in which you can do it?
We're very interested in it. I will say that.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're talking about it.
Stomp the Man says, will there be any cinematics / lore / possibly even new champions that will be unique to Riftbound?
That is a great question. Lore and cinematics. So one of the things that Riftbound gets to do as a TCG, and Legends of Runeterra got to do this too, is fill in a lot of the gaps in the world. Now, for our first set, Origins, we are creating what we call Good Honest Riftbound. Where like we don't need to do anything fancy about narrative because we're just presenting the game and its characters and its mechanics, and we're setting that baseline. Over time, I think TCGs need narrative. That's not a declaration of plans, but it is kind of just an acknowledgement that over time, sets need to be more and more about something.
Sure, yeah. It would be hard to do like 5 years into Riftbound and you're like, here's another look at like,
and here's a bunch more champions. That stops carrying the game forward. But like right now, we're just getting the game in front of people, and we want these really resonant champions. Not all of them are like 100% the most popular, but they're powerful archetypes that people are going to recognize.
How much do you work with the League of Legends team and the Legends of Runeterra team to keep the game kind of in sync with all this stuff? Because I know there's been a pretty big effort, even we're staying outside of the esports arena. There's been a big effort, I know, to like, Spirit Blossom hits in the Rift, and now there's like Spirit Blossom kind of taking over the esports. So I know that's not where you're at for Origins right now, but how much do you anticipate being in lockstep with these teams on kind of their efforts and trying to figure out how much the TCG can mirror that?
I will say that is a Riot-wide effort that we are a part of, and I will be very coy about saying another word on that.
Sure, that's fine.
All right.
But it sounds like you at least talk to those teams.
We're in communication with those teams. We have regular meetings with those teams. Across anything that touches the league IP, there's a lot of effort to make sure that we're kind of speaking with one voice. Even if we're on different platforms, even if we're reaching different audiences, that's coming across.
Out of curiosity, because I just kind of thought about this now, obviously everybody's going to be like, okay, you guys are talking to Legends of Runeterra, you're using art, you're going to share back art, you're going to do all this stuff. But TFT has like a very probably overlapping demographic of players that are interested in this stuff. So how much do you all talk to the TFT team? How much do they test your game and you test their stuff, etc.?
So we do a bunch of play testing in a bunch of different ways. Some of our best play testers we do an intensive week of balanced play testing. We're borrowing people from all over Riot to do that, and some of our favorites come from the TFT team.
Very
no
good.
names, but they're involved.
Awesome. All right, well, hey, thank you so much for the interview, and also thank you for helping me reveal Leona. Is there anything that you would like to say to any of the prospective Riftbound fans out there?
If you can, come on out. We are demoing all weekend long. We're having a lot of fun, and get your QR code scanned early if you're watching this at a reasonable hour. We're going to be at Gen Con, very excited about that, and look for more as it comes out. Great talking to you guys.
Future events, I'm sure.
Many other future events too.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Nick. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Riftbound right here on my channel. Thank you so much for watching that Riftbound video. Welcome to the Riftbound channel, by the way. I only have a couple videos here, but I would love it if you would subscribe, because that is the only thing that will encourage me to make more Riftbound videos, because my content brain has been trained like a monkey to only care about number go up.